I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey guys, maybe I'll cover every single episode of the Contender series this year. Season 9 Contender series. Let's get it. Let's go. And guys, I'm on an 8-bet win streak on the Patreon on the 2 UFC cards that I didn't break down. I thought I'd take those 2 Apex events off, have a nice little break. And over those 2 cards, I've made like 1,100 or just over 1,100. A nice 8-bet win streak. So hopefully on week 1 Contender, we can increase that win streak to like 9 or 10. And last season of the Contender, ask anyone on my Patreon at that time, we smashed it. We lost like 1 episode out of 10 for the whole of last season. So can we do that again? We're going to try to do it again. Season 9, episode 1. Let's run it. First matchup, we've got Murtaza Talha taking on Baysangur Susurkaev. The first thing I want to say is, Murtaza originally had a very winnable matchup. His original opponent was someone he was likely going to successfully wrestle against. However, that's no longer the case. Susurkaev is a training partner of Khamzat Chimaev. So it's safe to say that Murtaza's wrestling game plan this time round will be much harder to implement than what it was against his original opponent. Even if Murtaza manages to get that takedown, will he be able to keep it? Will he fully secure the takedown? Or will the Russian just spring back to the feet like a jack in the box? And looking at the stand-up, I'd have to say that Susurkaev is by far the better striker. He can throw fast head kicks, clean boxing. He's well-rounded. He can do it all. Striking, grappling, wrestling. He can do it all. I kind of feel bad for Murtaza Talha because he lost his first fight on the Contender. He gets another opportunity, and this time it's against someone that he's likely to dominate with his wrestling. But now he's facing an undefeated Russian that trains with Khamzat Chimaev. So my prediction has to be the Russian, Baysangur Susurkaev. And even if Baysangur Susurkaev doesn't get a stoppage, he wins on the scorecards, I think he still gets a contract, because why wouldn't you sign an undefeated Russian prospect that trains with Khamzat Chimaev? You're going to sign that guy. So the winner of this fight and the first one to get a contract on the season is Baysangur Susurkaev. Christopher Ewert taking on Yuri Panferov. Now this one's interesting because Yuri, the Russian polar bear Panferov, he already lost on the Contender. He lost against the very uneventful Torres Finney. Anytime you get a second opportunity on the Contender, you really have to make it count, because one opportunity to fight on the Contender is more than most up-and-coming fighters ever get. To be blessed with a second opportunity, for Yuri Panferov, it's now or never. Yuri has some solid jiu-jitsu, certainly better than Chris Ewert. If Panferov follows the right game plan and gets Chris to the ground, he's a serious live underdog in this fight. He could win rounds purely based on grappling control, or even find a submission against Chris Ewert. On the flip side, we've got an undefeated Chilean who actually did get signed to the UFC a few weeks ago, but couldn't even get past the scale. So he was sent back to the Contender series, and this time round, he did beat the scale. He did make weight for this fight. Now, Chris Ewert, I would describe him as a scrappy boxer, a pressure combination puncher, someone who throws punches in bunches and actually has a couple unique combinations. In one of his fights, I saw Ewert throw a left hook, immediately followed by a right elbow. So he's mixing up the weapons to create surprising combinations. And I'd also say that Chris Ewert, he's tough, he's gritty, he's a relentless pressure boxer. If Yuri Panferov can't get Chris to the ground, I think there's a very good chance that Chris Ewert just picks him apart on the feet, just pieces him up on the feet, and eventually breaks him, eventually stops him. It is a tough prediction to make though, because if you're Yuri Panferov, it's a make or break, back against the wall, fighting for all the marbles type of situation. I'm still going to pick Chris Ewert though. Even though Panferov, it's a make or break, back against the wall type of situation, I'm going to pick Chris to win this fight. I just think if Yuri Panferov isn't fighting on the ground, then he's losing the fight on the feet and probably gets stopped on the feet. So my prediction has to be the undefeated Chilean Chris Ewert. Next matchup, we've got Jimmy Drago taking on Ty Miller. Oh boy, this is a fight. This is a real fight, man. The fights just keep getting better and better. You don't want to miss Jimmy Drago taking on Ty Miller. This one promises violence and probably a nasty stoppage. Now, Jimmy Drago is a very exciting fighter. If you enjoy watching fighters that give absolutely everything they have inside the octagon, you're going to be a fan of Jimmy Drago. He's got excellent low kicks, lightning fast head kicks, solid punching power. He can wrestle, he can grapple. Drago does very well in every aspect of MMA, and he wears his heart on his sleeve inside the octagon. You won't see a boring performance from Jimmy Drago. That's a fact. Now, Ty Miller, this dude's a problem. He's a problem, man. I'm telling you. He might not be as fast as Jimmy Drago. He might not have the same grappling as Jimmy Drago. He may not have the same kicking as Jimmy Drago. So, in terms of pure skill, you could maybe make a case that Jimmy Drago is the more skillful of the two. But the great equalizer for Ty Miller is going to be his size. He's a much bigger welterweight than Jimmy Drago. And I'd also have to say, he's a better puncher. He's a better boxer. One thing that Ty Miller does extremely well is work off his jab and throw the jab. He'll keep the jab in your face. Then he'll follow up with a powerful right hand. There's real pop in the punches of Ty Miller. He's not as flashy. He's not as diverse as Jimmy Drago. But he's fundamentally a very strong boxer. So here's how I see the fight playing out. In round one, I think Jimmy Drago probably wins that round using his speed advantage, using his kicking advantage, maybe even getting a well-timed takedown. I think round one is a round where Jimmy Drago shows he's a very skilled fighter and wins that round. But then I feel that a minute into round two or 2 minutes into round two, I think Jimmy starts to slow down a little bit. And that's where Ty Miller really begins to find success with the timing of the jab. From there, Drago's now forced into a boxing match, and I don't favour Drago in a pure boxing contest against Ty Miller, especially not inside the smaller octagon. So midway through round two, I think Ty Miller actually catches Drago clean on the chin with a heavy right hand. I'm talking fight stopper right hand. And he drops Jimmy Drago to the canvas. I do expect a good matchup with Jimmy Drago winning round one, but the size of Ty Miller and the boxing of Ty Miller, I think it eventually pays off midway into round two. So my prediction has to be Ty Miller to get a contract with a brutal round two stoppage. Next matchup, we've got Radley de Silva taking on George Mangos. Man, this is a tough prediction. Very tough. Because George Mangos is obviously a very talented young Australian fighter, currently undefeated. He's primarily a submission fighter, and he's also got clean striking technique. He's not like a one-dimensional grappler. He can stand and trade on the feet. That being said, George Mangos is only 21 years old. For just 21, he's an absolute beast. But he's got all the time in the world to get to the UFC. If he doesn't make it tomorrow night, I have no doubt in 2 years' time we'll see George Mangos again, probably on the Contender. So it isn't a make or break situation for young George Mangos. However, the same can't be said for Radley de Silva. He's 30 years old. He doesn't have as much time as George Mangos. That means there's more pressure on Radley de Silva. And pressure, it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing, man. It can bring the best out of some fighters and it can break others. So will the pressure make or break Radley de Silva? And here's the thing. Both of these fighters are very good. They can both grapple. They can both strike. They can both cause chaos anywhere the fight goes. But I do think Radley de Silva is a little more chaotic. He fights with a sideways stance and he's a little bit more unpredictable on the feet. Whereas George Mangos is more fundamental. He's more by the book. In one of Radley de Silva's fights, he gets one of the most beautiful wheel kick stoppages. I think it was a wheel kick. It was some type of spinning kick and it was complete dusteration. I'm talking dusted on the highest level. It was diabolical. So I kind of feel that Radley de Silva is maybe one of the more justifiable underdogs on the card. If you're looking for an underdog, it might be Radley de Silva. He can strike with George Mangos. He can grapple with George Mangos. He has more experience than George Mangos. There's 5 undefeated fighters competing on week 1 of the Contender. Does the undefeated parlay cash? If you put all the undefeated fighters in a parlay, is it really going to smack? Or does George Mangos kill the undefeated fighter parlay? I'm going to say George Mangos is the one that lets it down. I'm going to say Radley de Silva as my underdog pick on the card. The final matchup of Contender Series Week 1 is Ilian Bouafia taking on Neemias Santana. And the first thing I want to say about the final fight of Week 1 is surely this fight doesn't go to the judges. There's just too much power inside the small octagon, too much violence, too much opportunity for a fight-ending punch to land for us to see the judges' scorecards. Now, Ilian Bouafia is a very technical southpaw boxer who kind of reminds me a little bit of Nasruddin Imavov. I believe Ilian either trains with Nasruddin or has at some point. I can definitely see a slight similarity in the style. He's very active with his footwork, staying nice and light on the feet, and he's a sharpshooter with the left hand. The left hand is a serious fight-ending weapon for Ilian Bouafia. Now, Ilian does keep his chin a little bit high, but his movement's good. His punches are incredibly direct. There's no wasted motion in the game of Ilian Bouafia. Just straight A to B. Pure accuracy. A sniper of a boxer. The left hand is good to go. Now his opponent, Neemias Santana, is extremely powerful. A bit of a wild man. And in terms of pure technique, he's not on the same level as Ilian Bouafia. Don't get me wrong though. Santana does have power. He can hurt Bouafia, maybe even stop Ilian Bouafia, but he doesn't get to the target with the same sharpness, the same precision as Ilian. And guys, remember, it's the punches you don't see coming that hurt the most. If you see a punch, you can brace, you can roll with it, you can anticipate, and all of those things, they help you stay conscious. But if you don't see a punch, you can't brace, you can't roll, you can't anticipate, and that's when the lights go out. That's when you go night-night. Now, for me personally, Ilian Bouafia is the sharper, cleaner, better puncher, and the more likely fighter to land that unseen knockout punch. So my prediction is going to be Ilian Bouafia via round 1 KO. It's potentially a whoever lands first wins type of fight. And if you said to me, look, who's landing first? I'm going to pick the guy that's sharper, the guy that's faster, the guy that's more direct, throwing the punches straight, not wasting motion, the cleaner counterpuncher, the technician. I'm going to pick all of that over the powerful Brazilian wildman. And maybe I'm being a little bit disrespectful to Santana, but I just feel Ilian Bouafia is a level or two above when it comes to boxing. So my prediction has to be Ilian Bouafia.
Guys, drop down your favourite Contender Series Week 1 predictions. Who are you going to bet? Who are you going to pass on? Drop all that stuff in the comment section below. Alright, my homies. Enjoy the Contender. It's back. There's going to be violence. There's going to be contracts. There's going to be blood. There's going to be amazing moments. It's back. Let's go.